Hello, Abnormal Investigations. I've got a Bigfoot Sasquatch encounter for you, probably one that we don't normally hear. It's going to be a little different. It is a very unique encounter, and I think you all are probably going to have a lot of comments on this one. It's probably going to cause a good conversation, I believe, and I'm glad it was sent in. So I hope you all enjoy this. I hope you're having a great Sunday, and I hope everything is just wonderful for you. Note: these events took place and are described below occurred in 2006. For several years I lived in a rented house along Wexley Way on Swinomish Reservation outside of LaConner, Washington. Wexley Way runs east to west and ends near the Swinomish Channel close to the town of LaConner. My house was located a few feet off the road on the south side. Behind my house was about 100 yards of heavy dense woods, and beyond that, Loomy Bay. My first Bigfoot experience took place on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2009. It was approximately 3:30 to 4 o'clock a.m. I was scheduled to take the 5:40 flight out of Bellingham International Airport to SeaTac en route to talk. I was giving the next day at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. It was pitch dark outside, a cold, crisp, beautiful, and almost cloudless morning. I was carrying my travel bags out to my truck when I heard it. A loud, piercing cry that was so loud and clear it literally shattered the dark stillness of that early morning. It came from the woods behind my house. I estimated not much more than probably 50 yards away. The vocalization itself was one long, flowing sound that lasted perhaps 5 seconds, paused for perhaps another 2 or 3 seconds before repeating itself identically for the second time. The cry also served to wake up every dog, seemingly within a 1-mile radius, who collectively filled the morning air with their own barks and howls. What has a few seconds earlier, it could have been complete silence, suddenly turned into loud chaos. I immediately turned off my porch lights, and for perhaps the next 15 minutes I sat in the darkness hoping to hear the cry again. But whatever creature made the sound remained quiet. After about 10 minutes, the last of the dogs had quieted down. All was again silent. I admit that the first thought that came to my mind upon hearing the scream was that it was a primate. The second thing that came to my mind was Bigfoot. It could be nothing else. The sound that I heard that morning could be best described as a long, drawn-out, howling cry. It was completely and totally unique compared to any local animal or bird sound that I have ever heard. In time, I thought of every other possible creature it could have been, and immediately ruled out each. The nearest animal vocalization that I can compare it to, and indeed it is very close comparison, is that of the cries made by a howler monkey in the jungles of South America. Less than 1 week later, Bigfoot paid me a second visit. On the following Saturday, September 27th, I had gone pheasant hunting at the nearby Lake Terrell. It had been a good day, and I returned home with 2 nice roosters. To the light of the driveway in front of my house, a small clearing where the septic tank was buried. There at the edge of the wood, and only 20 feet from Wexley Way, I had a pine log set up where I routinely cleaned my birds. I would then throw the remains, guts and feathers, into the woods where the raccoons and possums could carry them off. Upon returning from my hunt about noon, I went to the clearing to clean my birds. I had just finished the first when suddenly all hell broke loose. In the woods, less than 20 feet in front of me, the focal point of the chaos was a rather large tree that began to swing violently from side to side. In terms of size, I would estimate the trunk of this tree was perhaps 10 inches in diameter, and something was shaking it back and forth as if it was a sapling. Branches and leaves began falling to the ground from this tree, and the other small ones around it, and they were being pounded. As I watched in amazement, a massive hairy creature emerged from the woods. It stood at least 8 foot tall, covered in dark brown fur, with a flat face and a prominent forehead. It had a strong, muscular build. Its eyes seemed to gleam in the sunlight, and it let out a low, rumbling growl as it began to move toward me. I was frozen in terror, unable to move or speak. The creature began to circle around me. The clearing, its eyes fixed on me. I could see the intelligence in its eyes, and I knew that it was not a mindless beast. It was thinking, reasoning creature. It was actually sizing me up. As it circled around the clearing, it began to make a low, rumbling noise. It was not a growl exactly, but more of a humming noise. It was a strange, hypnotic sound, and I found myself becoming mesmerized just by the sound it was making. Suddenly, the creature stopped circling and stood still, facing me. It let out a loud, piercing cry, and I felt a surge of fear run through me. I was frozen in terror, unable to move or speak. But then something strange happened. The creature began to calm down, and its cry subsided into a low, rumbling growl. It took a step closer to me, and I could see the intelligence in its eyes. It was not going to hurt me, I realized. It was trying to communicate with me, I thought. I took a deep breath, and I tried to calm down. I looked into the creature's eyes, and I saw something there that I had not expected to see. I saw kindness and compassion and a deep understanding. For a few moments, the creature and I just stood there looking at one another. It was a moment of deep connection, and I felt a sense of peace wash over me. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the creature turned and disappeared into the woods. I was left standing there feeling stunned and amazed. I realized that I had just had a profound experience, one that would change my life forever. I had encountered a creature that was not supposed to exist, and yet it had shown me kindness and compassion. As I stood there trying to process what I had just seen and what had just happened, I heard a faint rustling in the woods, and I turned to see the creature emerging from the trees once again. This time, it was carrying something in its hand. It had a small, delicate flower, and the creature held it out to me. I took the flower, feeling a sense of wonder and awe. It was a gift. I realized a symbol of the connection that the creature and I had shared. And with that, the creature turned and disappeared into the woods once again. I was left standing there, feeling grateful and amazed. I realized that I had just been given a rare gift, a glimpse into the world that was hidden from most people. I had encountered a creature that was not supposed to exist, and yet it had shown me kindness and had offered me a gift. As I stood there holding the flower, I knew that my life would never be the same again. My eyes were now open to a whole different reality. I had been changed by things that I never thought would exist. I will always carry the memory and the kindness that the creature left me. He moved back into the woods, and it was kind of weird how fast something that large and hairy could just disappear. It's like he went right into the woods. I haven't seen him since. I still clean my animals there and throw the scraps out there. I figure that he's probably one of the few lucky ones that's enjoying the bounties of my harvest. I am so glad that he did not hurt me and that he is peaceful. I don't hear the howls anymore. There's no slapping on my house or anything. He doesn't disturb me. But I've noticed a few times when I've thrown rabbits down on the ditch part that I toss all the remains into, that I've heard a limb snap and turn, and the whole rabbit will be gone. He doesn't take them all, but he'll take one. But that's okay with me. As long as he leaves me alone and doesn't bother me, what's a rabbit or a few birds of every hunt? I'm fine with that. I think we can live together. That's interesting. I always tell people to beware of them. I don't think gifting them and feeding them and having them around is a good idea. I'm glad that your encounter with him was not mean or he didn't attack you, but I believe there is always that chance that it can happen. You don't know on his menu where you're at, Maybe you go hunting and you have a dry spell where you don't get anything and he's not able to eat. Does he become angry with you because you're not gifting him anymore? A lot of things I'd be thinking about. I'd probably go ahead and put lights up around my house and stuff just to keep him at bay. I wouldn't do it to try to make him mad. I would just put them up as, a, just to, I don't know, deter him and see how that goes. Because I would not want to trust something that large and with the capabilities he has if he ever decides that he doesn't want a rabbit. So we'll listen in the comments and see what everybody else has to say. I'm always open to everybody's opinions and ideas because, hell, we don't know everything. I don't know everything, and I'm always willing to learn. Thank you for being here, family. I appreciate y'all being here supporting me. You all are my family. I love you guys. If you don't mind, click the like button on your way out and share this out. Thank you so very much. And always remember, keep your head on a swivel and don't be something's dinner. We'll see you on the next one.